The Loxahatchee Impoundment Landscape Assessment, also known as LILA, is an 80-acre model of the Everglades ecosystem, located at the Arthur R. Marshall Loxahatchee National Wildlife Refuge in Boynton Beach. The primary goal of LILA is to support Everglades restoration research by better understanding the hydrology that sustains a healthy Everglades ecosystem. The research at LILA is coordinated by the South Florida Water Management District in partnership with the refuge. The refuge has a total of 10 impoundments. These are wetland areas confined by an enclosure. Construction on LILA began in 2000, when 2 of these 10 impoundments were divided in half to create 4 20-acre areas called macrocosms. These macrocosms are large-scale ecosystem models of the Everglades. LILA is a living laboratory. There are 3 key topographical features of the historic Everglades ecosystem. These are tree islands, ridges, and sloughs. The tree islands are the highest points of elevation in the Everglades marsh. While only slightly higher than the surrounding areas, they provide drier habitats across the vast wetland. Trees such as Dahoon holly, coastal plain willows, red bay, sweet bay, and pond apple are found on these tree islands. This woody vegetation is critical to the survival of wildlife, such as wading birds, soft-shelled turtles, deer, bobcat, and other small mammals. Ridges are long, slightly elevated sections of the marsh landscape that are dominated by sawgrass. These areas are too wet for tree species. Sawgrass gets its name from the saw-like teeth along the edges of the leaves. The sloughs are the areas that are lowest in elevation. They are like streams within the marsh, and they contain emergent vegetation, such as water lilies, floating hearts, spatterdock, and submerged aquatics like bladderworts that provide structure for periphyton. These marshes provide habitat for a number of wetland animals, such as apple snails, crayfish, frogs, fish, and wading birds. At LILA, these 3 key topographical features were recreated to vary in elevation just as they do in the Everglades. In 2003, native vegetation was planted by both the South Florida Water Management District staff and volunteers in each of these areas. The heart of LILA is an electric pump that moves more than 45,000 gallons of water per minute, an amount equal to the volume of 2 swimming pools. This allows researchers to simulate a variety of natural conditions in each of the 4 20-acre macrocosms. 2 cells are allowed to get very deep, as dictated by rainfall, and 2 are hydrologically constrained to prevent water depths from inundating the tree islands. LILA might be the most highly monitored 80 acres of wetland in the world. The stage monitoring network is capable of producing more than 1,000 points of data per day on the depth conditions in and around the project site. Daily depth adjustments, along with a pump control system that automatically manages downstream stage, creates a very controlled hydrology that allows researchers at LILA the opportunity to replicate both flood and drought conditions at the landscape scale. At LILA, scientists can conduct cause and effect studies in a controlled environment, giving them the opportunity to try restoration techniques before taking them into the 1.7 million acre Everglades ecosystem. The ridge and slough topography is one focus of research at LILA. In the last century, since the hydrology through the Everglades has been altered, these sloughs, without proper flow, have filled in with cattails and sawgrass. What are the conditions that are needed to maintain a healthy ridge and slough landscape? To understand why these changes have occurred, scientists at LILA have conducted studies to answer these questions. What are the hydrological characteristics of ridges and sloughs? How does water management affect marsh ecology? How do the plant communities differ between ridge and sloughs? And What depth and depth durations are needed to maintain natural and sustainable ridge and slough elevations? Results of these studies are helping scientists to better understand topographic diversity, sustainability, and plant community responses in the ridge and slough landscape. Tree islands are another area of research at LILA. Approximately half of the historic tree islands in the Everglades have been lost. These ghost islands were caused by extremely low water levels followed by extremely high water levels. Researchers are conducting many types of studies on tree islands at LILA. How does water management influence how frogs, lizards, snakes, and turtles make use of tree islands? What is the significance of limestone cores for tree island health and development? How tolerant are tree island tree species to flooding? And what soil processes create and sustain high plant diversity? LILA will be a primary source of information for choosing the species of trees to plant and how densely to plant them in tree island restoration or rehabilitation projects in the greater Everglades. Finally, yet another area of research at LILA are studies focusing on wading birds. There is evidence suggesting that the population declines of Everglades wading birds are a result of changes in food availability due to changing hydrologic patterns. Researchers at LILA are studying the questions: how do fish, hydrology, and vegetation affect wading bird foraging success? What factors determine the availability of fish for wading birds? And what impacts do exotic fish have on native populations? As LILA continues to grow and evolve, it will provide scientists with a unique opportunity to make the results of their monitoring more certain and more cost-effective. Many of the studies at LILA have already produced interesting results, providing scientists with an understanding of how to better manage the hydrology before implementing these changes in the greater Everglades.